runs a mentorship program, and we know that he's very active online, and he has a lot of forums that he conducts. So I want to hear from you what inspired you, and share your story.
Thank you very much.
Round of applause now.
Thank you, Mustafa. Thank you, Mr. Baji. Today,
Dr. Baji.
I settled. Unlike my previous colleagues who spoke here, agriculture is something that I'm not very good at. I come from a region where agriculture is the backbone. That is the central region of the Gambia. Rice production is all year round. But growing up, I happen to be someone who is not ready to go into that line. Maybe because I was not meant to go into that line. But I'll share some stories with you that also changed, that helped me become who I am today. Like I say, farming is something that is known in that part of the region. I come from a village called Kewan Samashira. Just recently, the president has announced that they're going to put a training school in that village, which is going to be agriculture. So that speaks for what I just said. However, when we go to the farm as a child, I always look for opportunity to come back home. Run away from the farm. And early on, my father realized that this is not the area for me to focus on. I remember one day we went to the farm. I was holding the horse. We didn't the farm, and the horse was, not seriously doing the job. That's because I was not working or willing to do it. So he told me in my local language, you said you don't want a farm, then you need to hold on to pen. That message was something that I didn't take seriously at that time. It doesn't make any sense to me, because that was something that I don't think it was any message I should take seriously. Until some years down the line when he passed on, and that sank with me. It now makes sense to me why I need to hold on to pen, because this part of the life is not something that I want to do from growing up as a child. So at that point, I take my education seriously. When he passed on, it becomes a challenge for my mother to continue paying our tuition fee. And myself and my brother, it came to a point where the family had to decide who should stay on school, whether me or him. It's my older brother. So he decided to leave school for me to continue so that the family can support my educational career. And that also made me to remember what my father told me. You hold on to pen, since you say you're not going to do the farming. And that has become a challenge for me to make sure that I don't become a disappointment for my family for trusting and investing on me. So moving on, having completed my high school from the village, basically I did all my education at the village. That's my primary, my junior and high school. So when I came down here, this part of the country, I picked up a job. That is after finishing high school. Now this is because when I was coming down here, I've also received an advice from my mother, giving me some specifics that has relationship with my family history down here. Most of the time when they come, they don't make it. So I want to change that trajectory. So when I came here with that advice, I said I need to engage myself doing something while we wait for the results to come out after finishing the grade 1. So while waiting on that, the first job I picked on was a security officer. I became Uncle Sam security officer for basically about a few months. When the results came out, I happened to have an opportunity to go and further my education. So I resigned from that job and moved on to further my education. And while on that education as well, I still have the opportunity to work. But at this point, what became more important to me is that the job that I am doing is eating so much time into the time I should spend on my books. And it's not giving me what can help me to continue. I basically spend more on my transport than what I'm receiving at the end of the month. So I decided to stay out of that and stay 100% on my education career, because this is the advice growing up what my father told me. You hold on to the pen. So I stayed on that path. When I became 100% full-time student, this gave me the opportunity at the time the school I was studying at. There is no librarian. Because I go there every day, they give me the keys to be the custodian. And gradually, they trusted me with the administration of that place and co-opted me to become an admin assistant in the institution. So this gave me the opportunity to get sponsorship from them. And now I'm getting the opportunity to continue on the path that my father thought would help me go far. The reason why I'm highlighting this is because the part of the region that I come from, only few make it through on the part of education. Most of the time, parents will come to the schools and pick their kids from classes to go into the farms. And at the end of the day, at the time, it's not something that helps you to become better off. They were just doing it to sustain the family, for food and things like that. So this helped me to stay on this path. And I can thank God for today. With that part of advice I got from my father and my mother, who told me when you come to this part of the country, what you need to do, made me to have a set for myself and set a goal for myself. And making sure that the family history that we have when we come to this part of the country, at least I changed that. So at the early age, I realized for me to be able to focus on the path I want, I need to settle down. At least I need to have a wife and get married so that I avoid distractions that is going to make me to focus on what I want to achieve. So I got married at an early age. The part that comes next is that now that I'm married, I've picked up responsibility, and I need to make sure that I support my family, I support my parents, I support my siblings, and I also need to make sure that we get somewhere that we can call home. I got married in 2010, and in 2010, I bought my own compound. Just about 6 months down after my marriage. But at that point, I wasn't able to build that compound, but I secured it at a very reasonable price. Initially, I wanted to buy a car before all of those came, but I realized that I need to make sure that I have to do something that will be comfortable. So when I bought that compound, I leave it at that. I just secure the place, fence it, and leave it at that. It was being used for agriculture, but not me anyway, because I told you already, I wasn't very good in that. So until in 2016, when I started the project of building the house, in 2016, my colleagues in CDD will attest. It's not that you will have to wait to have millions or so before you can do certain things that will impact in your life. The little savings, the little salary I've been receiving is what I use to invest to build that house. Sometimes when I come in the morning, breakfast, I just buy sweet bread and butter. That's enough for me for the whole day until I go back home. This is because I'm making savings to invest. So 2016 the project started. I moved in there, and just 2 days to my birthday, I present myself with that birthday gift, moved into my own compound in 2020, December 26th. This is because I have set myself a target. First, to make sure that I hold on to the pen that was an advice before my father passed on, gave me. And second of all, my mother also gave me an advice which is very visible, and the advice is very true from my family history. It's very, very true. Hardly do you make it true because of certain things that you get yourself into that will not help you in the future. So I try to change all that and achieve what I have achieved today because of the vision I have set for myself. And because of all this, it inspired me to form an organization, a movement called Generation Next. Our focus is to help inspire, motivate, and direct young people's participation towards responsibilities in the developing society. We believe everyone has a story. And once you share your story, it helps inspire someone. This is why we created this platform, so that we can bring in people to share their story, to have an impact on the society, to change the mindset of people in the society, to become better. And I'm glad I have a few of my colleagues who will join me in this venture. Ms. Harry Diva is one of the individuals in the management team who is very superb and great. And of course, one of the colleagues is currently in Nigeria, Mr. Muhammed, also part of the team. And a few others who are in other parts of the continent and the world around. This is our little contribution in the society because of the pathways we have. We thought that we can also make an impact in people's life, like Lamin and Alpha is already doing in the part of agriculture. We believe this is the part we can also do to help inspire each other. So I will also urge each and every one. Our platform, you are invited. You can come and to us and then share your stories to help inspire others to become better. So on that note, I think we are all both here in terms of the number of time we spend. So I wouldn't want to keep you long here. I just want to say lastly, I really honored this opportunity to stand before all of you to share some of these stories that probably some of you have known, if not because of this. But this has been already shared in a few of the platforms, on Generation Next, on QTV as well. We were there last time. So this is all to help, because sometimes you need to hear the story of someone else to make you realize how you should plan and do things. And once you do that, it helps you to become better. It's sometimes very difficult and tough. You think that you can't make it in life. But if you realize someone who also struggled before that stage and was able to move from that period to where he is or she is today, it makes you stay up and realize that, well, this is just a journey. It's not the end of the story. It's just probably you are on the journey, right? So on that note, I'd like to thank for your attention and kind interest. And I'd like to welcome all of you again to come and share your stories with us on Generation Next to help inspire a lot of people around the world.